What if the secret to living longer, feeling better, and staying sharp wasn't in a pill, but in the daily habits of people you might never expect? There's a hidden pattern among wealthy seniors, those who remain active, independent, and full of life well into their 80s and beyond. And no, it's not about having a big bank account or access to luxury healthcare. It's about what they do every single day. Small, consistent behaviors that most people ignore. Yet they create a kind of silent compound interest, not just in wealth, but in energy, clarity, mobility, and purpose. And here's what's truly surprising. These habits aren't exclusive to the rich. Anyone can adopt them. But most people never do. Why? Because they seem too simple to matter, too quiet to make a difference, until it's too late. In today's video, we'll explore 5 of these daily habits, drawn from real patterns observed in vibrant seniors who defy the stereotypes of aging. You'll meet 2 characters whose lives took very different paths. One aged with power and a grace. The other slowly declined, even with good intentions. By the end of this story, you'll not only understand what sets them apart, but you'll feel inspired to make one small shift starting today. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to grow older without growing old, this is for you. Because longevity isn't luck. It's a series of choices. Quiet, powerful, and often overlooked. Comment number 1 if you're ready. Let's start with something many people overlook. How you begin your day. Most people treat the morning like a fire drill. Eyes barely open, they reach for the phone. News alerts, text messages, noise. From that moment on, they're reacting, not living. Time slips by, breakfast becomes coffee. Movement is replaced with sitting, and the tone for the entire day is set in stress, distraction, and disconnection. But among seniors who thrive, those with clarity, energy, and resilience, there's a different pattern. Their mornings aren't chaotic, they're anchored. Eleanor wakes up before the sun, not because she has to, but because she chooses to. She opens her windows, lets the light in, drinks a glass of water with lemon, and takes a 5-minute stretch. Some mornings she writes in her journal. Others, she simply sits with her tea and watches the trees move. She calls it meeting the day. That short ritual gives her nervous system a signal. You're safe, you're here, you're alive. Frank? His morning is filled with delay. He stays in bed scrolling, often falling back asleep. When he finally gets up, he's groggy, achy, and rushed. He skips breakfast or grabs a packaged pastry. By 10 a.m., he's still in his robe, wondering where the morning went. His body feels heavy, his mind cloudy. This isn't just habit, it's biology. Studies show that early light exposure, hydration, and light movement help regulate cortisol and melatonin, balancing energy and sleep cycles. Even 2 minutes of morning sunlight can improve mood and reduce depression risk in older adults. And journaling? It activates parts of the brain tied to memory, clarity, and emotional regulation. Morning anchoring doesn't require hours. It requires intention. If you start your day with presence, everything that follows has a different tone. You respond better. You think clearer. You move more freely. Now, moving to the second factor that silently affects longevity. How the wealthy age with food, not by following strict diets, but by developing quiet nutritional discipline. Most people eat to satisfy a craving, not to nourish a system. They rush meals, skip hydration, and snack on autopilot. Over time, these habits chip away at the body's internal balance, leading to inflammation, insulin resistance, brain fog, and fatigue. Frank eats based on convenience. Breakfast, if he has. It is usually sugary. Lunch is often processed or skipped. Dinner comes late, heavy, and eaten in front of the television. He doesn't notice the slow weight gain or the dips in energy. He blames aging, not the silent choices being made day after day. Eleanor? Her approach isn't about restriction. It's about rhythm. She eats within a gentle time window, usually from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Her meals are simple but powerful. Leafy greens, legumes, berries, healthy fats. She avoids heavy foods at night, drinks herbal tea in the evening, and keeps a water bottle by her side throughout the day. She doesn't count. About understanding that every bite is either fueling clarity or feeding inflammation. If you've been told it's too late to change how you eat, remember this: the human body is always listening, and it's never too late to speak to it differently. Another habit that often gets ignored is one of the most powerful protectors of the aging brain: staying socially active, not just around people, but deeply connected to them. Many seniors slip into quiet isolation. Children move away, work fades into memory, and friends begin to disappear. Slowly, their world shrinks to the size of a living room. The television becomes their primary voice. Loneliness, though silent, begins to erode their vitality. Frank rarely leaves the house unless it's for an appointment. Most of his conversations happen through a screen, or not at all. He tells himself he likes the peace, but in truth, the quiet has become heavy. Without realizing it, he's become more withdrawn, forgetful, less motivated to move or explore. He feels invisible. Eleanor does the opposite. She intentionally cultivates her social life like a garden. Every week she attends a book club at the local library. She volunteers at the community center, plays board games with neighbors, and calls her niece every Sunday. These connections keep her engaged. They give her moments of laughter, empathy, even challenge. Neuroscience backs this up. A Harvard study that tracked individuals for over 75 years found that close relationships, not wealth or fame, were the strongest predictor of long, healthy lives. People with strong social bonds have a lower risk of memory loss, cardiovascular issues, and depression. Connection isn't a luxury, it's a biological necessity. When we engage with others, our brains release oxytocin and dopamine, chemicals that reduce stress and improve mood. Social interaction literally feeds the nervous system. If you want to age with strength, don't just move your body, move toward people. Start a conversation, write a letter, join a group. It might just save your life. Here's the fourth behavior that slowly undermines your health when ignored: the absence of learning. Many assume that by retirement, the phase of learning is over. But the truth is, the brain is not designed to coast. It's designed to grow. And when it stops learning, it begins to shrink. Not in metaphor, but in measurable structure. Frank rarely challenges his mind. He watches the same shows, reads the same newspaper, and avoids anything that feels unfamiliar. He tells himself he's earned the right to rest, but mentally he's fading. He forgets names, loses his train of thought, and becomes easily frustrated. It's not age, it's atrophy. Eleanor, meanwhile, treats her brain like a living organism that needs feeding. She's learning Spanish on an app with her neighbor. She reads biographies and writes notes in the margins. Some mornings, she tries to memorize a poem. Other days, she learns a new recipe from a culture she's never visited. It's not about mastery, it's about curiosity. Scientific research confirms that new learning strengthens neural pathways and can even create new ones, a process called neuroplasticity. A study from the University of Texas found that seniors who engaged in challenging mental activities showed improvements in memory and executive function within just 3 months. And it doesn't need to be formal. Learning can come from music, puzzles, stories, even trying to understand someone else's perspective. What matters is the stretch, the moment your brain has to reach. Staying sharp is not a privilege of the young. It's the reward of those who remain students of life. Up next, the fifth sign that many people dismiss: limiting movement to exercise alone. Most people believe that 30 minutes at the gym is enough. But the body doesn't respond only to workouts. It responds to constant motion. It thrives on movement throughout the day, light, varied, and meaningful. Frank used to go to the gym twice a week, but after some knee pain, he stopped altogether. Now, he spends most of his day sitting, on the couch, at the table, in the car. His steps are limited. His flexibility has diminished. He tells himself he's resting, but in truth, his body is slowly stiffening from disuse. Eleanor doesn't work out in the traditional sense, but she moves constantly. She stretches when she wakes up. She takes the stairs instead of the elevator. She tends to her small garden, dances in the kitchen, carries her groceries, and walks to the post office. Movement is not something she schedules, it's something she lives. Her body reflects that rhythm. Her joints stay mobile, her balance remains strong, her energy stays steady, and the science supports her. Researchers have found that even low-intensity, continuous movement throughout the day reduces mortality rates and supports cardiovascular health. The body needs circulation, muscle engagement, and joint lubrication, and those don't come from sitting for hours and exercising once. They come from weaving movement into life. This is why the healthiest seniors in the world don't have gym memberships. They have active lives. Their homes, their chores, their hobbies, they all require motion. It's not about intensity. It's about frequency. If you want to protect your body, stop asking it to move more. Ask it to move again, and again, and again. As we move forward, there's a sixth pattern that deserves attention. One that hides in plain sight: how small financial habits shape your biology. Most people separate money from health, but the truth is, chronic financial stress silently damages the body. It elevates cortisol, disrupts sleep, weakens immunity, and accelerates aging. And often the stress isn't caused by a lack of money, it's caused by a lack of clarity. Frank never took time to simplify his finances. His bills are scattered across accounts. Paperwork piles up. He avoids checking balances and dreads tax season. Even with modest savings, the anxiety lingers. That weight shows in his posture, in his breath, in the constant tension behind his eyes. Eleanor, by contrast, practices what she calls financial hygiene. Once a week, she reviews her accounts, not obsessively, but with calm attention. She set up auto-pay for essential bills, keeps her spending journal simple, and speaks regularly with a trusted advisor. She donates small amounts each month to causes she believes in, not for charity, but for emotional clarity. Giving reminds her she has enough. Harvard research has shown that people with perceived financial control, even at low income levels, experience less stress and report better overall health. It's not about how much you have. It's about how you relate to what you have. Financial. Micro-habits act like emotional vitamins. They quiet the mind. They give structure to uncertainty. And over time, they protect the heart, both metaphorically and literally. Let me share the seventh reason why many fail to maintain good health, and why the richest lives are often the quietest inside. They practice emotional hygiene. The physical body ages, that's inevitable. But emotional wounds, if left unexamined, can harden into habits that quietly damage health. Resentment, regret, chronic worry, guilt. These emotions don't just weigh on the heart. They wear down the immune system, raise blood pressure, and increase inflammation. Frank rarely speaks about how he feels. He carries old disappointments, like invisible luggage. The job that never recognized him. The family conflict left unresolved. The friends he stopped calling. His emotions are buried, not processed, and over time, that silence has turned into heaviness. He often feels tired, even when he hasn't done much. Eleanor makes space for reflection, not just once a year, but every day. Some mornings she writes in a small notebook, nothing dramatic, just a few lines. What she's grateful for, what she needs to release, who she wants to forgive. Sometimes she prays. Other times, she simply closes her eyes and breathes. She calls it cleaning the inside, and neuroscience backs her up. Studies show that daily journaling reduces anxiety and boosts immune function. Practicing forgiveness lowers cortisol and supports heart health. Even a brief moment of mindful breathing each day can improve sleep, focus, and emotional resilience. Emotional hygiene is not about being positive all the time. It's about being honest, gently, and consistently. It's recognizing that your inner world speaks louder than your blood tests. That peace is a daily discipline. If you want to age well, take care of your emotions the same way you care for your teeth. Clean them, check in with them, and don't let the pain build in silence. So now you've seen it. Not in theory, but in the quiet contrast between two lives. Frank and Eleanor, same age, same background, but radically different futures. One drifted, the other designed. What sets them apart isn't wealth or education, it's rhythm, it's intention. It's the willingness to keep choosing every day the small behaviors that shape a strong body, a clear mind, and a peaceful heart. Eleanor didn't get here by luck. She got here by aligning her days with what truly matters. She wakes with purpose, moves with grace, eats with awareness, connects with others, learns with curiosity, manages her finances with calm, and tends to her emotions like a wise gardener. Frank didn't fail out of laziness. He simply didn't know the cost of ignoring the basics. He trusted time would carry him forward. But time only magnifies the quality of our choices. And that's the deeper truth. Aging is not the problem. Disconnection is. Disconnection from movement, from meaning, from people, from self. But here's the good news. It's never too late to reconnect. The richest seniors, those who radiate life, aren't chasing youth. They're honoring the present. They know that a strong life is built on rituals, not resolutions. On small, consistent acts of care, repeated until they become identity. You don't need to do everything. You just need to begin. Pick one habit, one rhythm, one gentle anchor to hold on to tomorrow morning, and the next, and the next. Your body is listening, your mind is waiting, your future is still being written. Comment below if this resonated with you. Let us know which part of the story spoke the loudest. And if you found even one spark of truth here, like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because every week, we bring you timeless insights to help you live stronger, longer, and with more peace than you thought possible. Your longevity isn't measured in years. It's measured in how well you live the years you have left. And that journey starts now.